I've talked about this before, and I just went out to get some leeks and some carrots, and it's madness in rugby because I've been knocked over twice by bicycles, and I've slipped on leaves, and I've been really hurt. Then I went to Istanbul. I fell over again, and you just think there's a limit to how much time your body can spend repairing the damage that seems to have been done by accident. And just a few minutes ago, I was almost knocked over by a bicyclist on the street, on the pavement. And the Highway Act of 1835, Section 72, and the Local Government Act of 1888 makes it very clear that bicycles are classed as carriages and riders must not ride them on the pavement. The Highway Code, Rule 64, clearly states you must not ride the cycle on a pavement. Fixed penalty notices, typically £50, could rise to £500 if it goes to court. There are age exceptions. Children under 10 have no criminal responsibility and cannot be fined. But the enforcement is impossible in a town where the police force is absent, and enforcement is primarily the responsibility of the police. What do? You call the police after the bike has gone. The guidance from the Association of Chief Police Officers emphasises discretion, especially for responsible cyclists who are fearful of cycling on the roads, and I understand that as well. But pedestrians injured by pavement cycling usually stem from motor vehicles, not bikes, but this doesn't legitimise pavement cycling, and it doesn't explain how I could have been knocked over twice. A cyclist speeding past, threatening to run me over, appears to be a dangerous act, likely punishable by dangerous cycling laws, which can carry fines of up to £2,500, but impossible if you can't identify or stop the person who is biking. So in the end, bicyclists have impunity. Even if the police are responsible for enforcing pavement cycling laws and prosecution for dangerous behaviour, they're not around. And the Warwickshire County Council, based in Warwick, led by this new young reform councillor, George Finch, who's been appointed the interim leader on June the 25th, succeeding Rob Howard, who has resigned because he's ill. Maybe he had a biking problem. The chief executive, Monica Fogarty, has been in post since 2018. But the council oversees highways and rights of way, but enforcement actions are carried out by the police. Maybe the council needs to put up signs that biking on pavements is dangerous and wrong, and should only be conducted in extreme circumstances. The local council, the district council, the city council, actually the county council and the local council share the same councillor, Jerry Roodhouse, who represents Paddock's ward and is the leader of the local Lib Dem group. And his job is to handle pedestrian infrastructure, but again, enforcement is down to the police. So I'm not quite sure what one should do. I've made a great fuss over this over the years, but it means nothing. And I've raised it with Councillor Roodhouse, who doesn't seem to do anything. And I've raised it with the Warwickshire County Council, that equally doesn't seem to do anything. But the Highway Act of 1835, Section 72, is clear. The Highway Code, Rule 64, is clear. And the Road Traffic Act is clear. And this type of behaviour is concerning. And even if the police are the only body with legal authority to pursue or to fine pavement cyclists, I think that is dependent on a police force which is accessible and which is visible. And in rugby, neither is the case. So I'd love to know if you have similar problems with cycling. I was walking through London the other day. I was walking down down that road from Buckingham Palace down to, well, ultimately down to Chelsea, and in two very crowded areas, a cyclist came buzzing through on the pavement, and it's bad enough, the crowds, and the crowds exacerbated by buses, by tour buses stopping at the pavement, uh, and tourists assembling on the pavement, literally blocking the way. But when a cyclist is ploughing through at the same time, I would have thought this was dangerous. I think this has become a national problem, not a local problem, and I would love to know your opinion.